Hello and welcome to the 152nd episode of Fur, Fins, and Feathers. Today our guest is John Rohland of Rehoboth, Massachusetts, who brings his charming dog, Gator. Welcome, Gator. John, how did you get interested in German Shepherds?
I've had shepherds throughout my life. And I can remember when I was very small, my grandparents had shepherds. And they were just fantastic dogs. My grandparents lived on Arcade Avenue in Seekonk. And I remember going over there and playing with the dogs. And
He's settling right in.
Through my life, I've had several German Shepherds and always found them to be the best dogs for me. They are very attached to one person, although I think Gator probably has more fun with my daughter Grace and is more her dog than mine. I had a dog, a shepherd, who was almost pure black. And he was a fantastic dog until he got cancer and became very sick. And I was over at Tractor Supply getting some toys for Kuno. And I heard a woman in the next aisle talking about a German Shepherd she had that she was trying to place. So I went over and I talked to her and told her my situation where Kuno was very ill and probably wasn't going to last too much longer. And I'd be interested in her dog if the time was appropriate. Got her phone number, and when Kuno had passed, about 2 months later, I called her and she still had Gator. And he wasn't getting along with his littermate sister. So I went over to North Walker Street in Taunton, and Gator didn't seem to mind me. So he got in the car, and he's been with me ever since.
He is a frequent guest at the Rehoboth Council on Aging.
He certainly is.
And he's much beloved. Come on, you handsome devil. Tell us about the German Shepherd's attributes.
Well, they are, as I said, really a one-person dog, and they love their family. They like to have a job. You need to get a German Shepherd a job, and Gator's job, of course, is to take care of me, but to chase his tennis ball and chew the tennis ball. And that just gives them an out. You need to give them a job, or they get bored and then they get into things and into trouble. They're very smart, and they're very trainable.
They're very versatile dogs.
They are. And this guy loves chasing the tennis ball, like I said. And the Rehoboth Senior Center has a perfect space in the back with doggy bags and a poop bucket and chairs that you can sit in. And I play fetch with Gator back there at least once a day. And we have a great time. He gets along with other dogs, but doesn't really seem to get attached to them. With people, he will sit around and stay with you. But when he sees another dog, he wants to meet the other dog, but then he kind of gets tired of him pretty quickly. So he doesn't really, when we go to a dog park with other dogs, he more keys on chasing the tennis ball and playing with another dog. So. Now, when I first got him, Linda, who had him from being a pup, had a litter of German Shepherds, and she had his sister Daisy and Gator. And apparently Gator and Daisy weren't getting along after Gator was neutered. And Daisy used to pick on him. So he was quite happy to be with me. But whenever we would go to the dog park for the first several months, whenever he would see another German Shepherd, if it was a male, he was fine. They'd go play. But if it was a female, Gator would just sneak away. He didn't want anything to do with any other female German Shepherds at that point. He's since gotten over that. He's pretty good with them now.
He is very, very popular at the Rehoboth Council.
Well, he's pretty big, and he's about the right height for pretty much everybody. And he's got pretty good fur. German Shepherds have basically 4 different layers of fur. And as I've heard, they kind of lose one each season. So essentially, they're shedding all the time. So January to December, the dog sheds. And my car is full of what we call fur bunnies almost all the time, as is my house.
How do you keep him fed?
Well, he gets some of the leftovers from Chico at the Rehoboth Senior Center, which is good. And also, he really likes steak. That's his favorite. Chicken's good, and fish, but he really likes steak. And he eats a lot. I mean, a 105-pound dog can certainly go through quite a bit of dog food.
How much does he weigh?
105 pounds. Yeah.
Wow.
So he's most German Shepherds, they get up to 105, maybe 110, but that's usually about it. Many are much smaller than that. But you can see he's just so relaxed. But that's because we also have been out and played fetch for quite a while today to get him tired and relaxed. And
so he's had a workout today.
He did have a workout, yeah. And with German Shepherds, I mean, this guy, he goes 12 hours without needing to go outside and pee. And he seems pretty regular, so, one movement a day. And I do have a dog door at my house, but the last week or so, with it being so cold, I've closed that off because the breeze comes in a bit. So I don't like to waste too much heat.
How is his sleeping?
German Shepherds, I think they're either awake and on the job or asleep. There's no other thing for him to do. When I turn in at night, he sleeps right through, and he comes in and wakes me up. 6 o'clock, comes in, checks on me. And as long as you keep him. You keep fresh water out there for him. He's pretty good, and I use something called a furminator, which kind of cuts through the different layers of fur, and shedding isn't as bad when you use that consistently. It's like a razor blade sort of thing, and does a great job. And of course, this time of year, there's a lot of dry skin, so he does occasionally have some irritation from that, probably. My house has forced hot air, so it's very dry, like it is in here, too.
Yeah.
And even at the COA, it's also very dry air. You have to be careful. German Shepherds, their nails grow very quickly, and his nails are black. So if you try to clip them, it's very difficult to clip them and not cut the quick, which would make them bleed.
Yeah.
And really is damaging to the dog. So I like that there's a concrete area at the COA, and it's their patio area, and it wears off the nails just enough, so his nails don't get sharp and long. Perfect. Much easier than having to deal with, either
Having to have them clipped.
Yeah, apparently clipping them can be really damaging to their paws and their bones, and is really irritating to them. Some dogs, you look at this guy's teeth, and nobody wants to clip his nails, because you've got to put a muzzle on him and all that, and that's not fair to the dog. So just bringing him to that cement patio and letting him play works perfectly. It's like filing his nails down with no problem whatsoever. Now he does have this harness, which kind of makes him look like an official police dog. And I've had situations where, if someone has gotten irritated with how I drive, they've come up to me, it's like, you're going to have a road rage incident. And then I just roll the window down, and they see the German Shepherd with the harness on the back, and they assume I'm a police officer. And that just, it deflates anything. So that's been good. The harness, if you look at the front of the harness, it's got a big loop on it, a big D. I can take the harness off. There you go. It's okay. So there's a D clip here, and this is attached to the harness, which is around the dog. And I clip this into the seat belt in the back seat, and that keeps the dog stationary in the car. So if there were an accident, he doesn't go flying. He's held in by the harness, and it's not attached around his neck, which can be very damaging to a dog.
Of course.
And everyone who has a dog in a car should have it in a harness, clipped into the seatbelt. They shouldn't be allowed to wander in the front seat, sit in front of the steering wheel. If you do have an accident, the dog can be out into the street and killed or go wandering off. There's oftentimes you hear of dogs that are lost because of accidents, and that's just not fair to your
Come
animal.
on back.
Gator, come. Here, Gator. Gator. He smells, you have cats in here?
No, we've had them, though.
Gator, come. Back up, you're the star of the show, come on.
Come on, Gator.
Up.
What is the German Shepherd's life expectancy?
I'm hearing they're a large dog. They tend to be 10, 15 years. That's so you get to see a lot of German Shepherds throughout your life. You become very attached to them, and it's not like they're not going to stick around forever, but they are so dedicated to you that it's a bond that you really appreciate. I know that a lot of people, because when a dog gets older and you need to put a dog down, you should be there with your dog for that. And there's some people who just want to hand their dog off to a veterinarian, and that's not fair. You need to be there. You've been there through their whole life, and they are so dedicated to you as their human. It's important. Now, he likes to swim.
Does he?
Well, we haven't done it that often, but he really loves the beach. The car doesn't like it when he's done that, but he still appreciates it.
What are some other activities he enjoys?
Well, he loves looking at the squirrels in the backyard, running across the fence. So he's out the door like a shot when he sees the squirrels. He likes riding in the car, and is always appreciative of seeing another dog. Well, he kind of barks a bit when that happens. Loves other people, though. Loves everybody he sees at the Council of Aging at the Rehoboth Senior Center.
He's quite popular there.
And it is. He is, yes. Yesterday, he got some chicken from someone who had some leftover. Gator was quite happy with that. I often take him to come along with me. We haven't really done many bicycle rides, but he has been to the start and the finish of some of the Narragansett Bay Wheelmen bicycle rides. So
now you are very popular there.
Well, I've been doing that for quite a while.
Talk about that.
The Wheelmen have been around since the 1970s. I've been a member since late 1970s. And we do bicycle rides all around southern New England, generally on Sundays. And we'll meet up in a school parking lot or an area that you can put 15 or you can put 100 cars, and we start our bike rides from there. And you get a map, and you can go out and join a group of fellow cyclists, a lot of people that you know that you've ridden with before. And we move the ride starts around southern New England, so we'll have rides down in South County, we'll have rides in Connecticut, rides in Massachusetts, and all over Rhode Island. And we generally we set out 3 different lengths of rides. So if you want to do a 20-mile ride, you can do that, or 35, or 50, up to we even used to do something called a double century, which is a 200-mile bike ride. And that was, we called that the Carlton Drummond double century. And that was very popular back in the day. We also do something called TFCE, which is the flattest century in the East, and that we start now from Horseneck Beach. Originally it was from Tiverton, so it was called the Tiverton Century. But we still keep the name TFCE, the flattest century in the East. We start at Horseneck Beach in the parking lot there. And we do basically a cloverleaf, 3 different loops, 30 to 40 mile each. And it totals out to a 100-mile bike ride. You come back to one central point where we have all of the refreshments. And it's, in the past, we had 3,000 to 4,000 people doing this TFCE century ride. But we've cut it down a little bit. We're in the 200 to 300 folks. And it's I guess it's the second weekend in September every year that we do it.
When do you start?
People start early, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning.
But when physically do you start? Like in January, February?
Oh, we ride all year.
Do you
Yes, the
really?
Narragansett Bay Wheelmen. We have our rides every weekend, every Sunday throughout the year. I can't say there's a lot of people who do all the rides, especially this time of year. But yeah, we ride all year. And we rarely cancel a ride. I think we've, maybe 2 or 3 rides have been canceled out of the hundreds that we've had.
Interesting.
And it's a good group of people, all ages, all. There are people with e-bikes, there are people with trikes, there are people with recumbents, and a lot of normal bicycles, and a lot of old people and a lot of very young people. So, and it's a good group of people to come out and join and learn from. And Gator has been to many of those rides and played in the parking lots and gotten to meet a lot of bicyclists.
And then he just goes back to his,
I put him back in the car.
and he sleeps for the rest of the day.
He'll sleep for the duration. Yep. I do have. I've stopped over at Panera Bread a few times, and he'll be out in the car, and I'll go in to get my coffee. And one time, a policeman came in and said, "You can't leave your dog in the car." I said, "Why not?" I mean, it was cold, but you look at his fur, it's like he doesn't care. So the guy says, "Well, you gotta bring the dog in." So I said, "Well, it's a Tesla, and it's got dog mode. So you just use the screen and set the car to dog mode, and it maintains the temperature that you set it at, and it also shows up on the screen that a sign or a picture of a dog that says, my driver will be back shortly. I'm fine. You don't need to break the windows." So that's worked out pretty well. And you also, when your dog is in the car, you see it on your phone where the dog is, and you get the live picture of your dog sitting in the car, so you can be sure that he's fine, or she. And yeah, he's pretty relaxed.
I would say so.
Happy dog.
How do you groom him, you brush him daily?
Not daily. Maybe once a week he gets
A good brushing?
good brushing. Yeah.
He's got a good appetite.
He's got a good appetite. Drinks a lot of water. You got to make sure you've got good, fresh, clean water for a dog. Any dog.
What does he like for treats?
He likes pretty much any kind of bone. German Shepherds seem to be able to eat just about anything. You have to be careful that the bones aren't going to splinter. A lot of times if I'm making soup and I've got bones in it, I will put vinegar in with the soup, and what that does is pulls out some of the calcium, and the bones become less brittle and easier for the dog to handle. But with these teeth, he's happy with anything. So he likes hot dogs, he likes hamburger. Steak is his favorite. He's got a lot of toys. The house is full of them. Tennis balls everywhere.
He's a very content dog.
Yeah, he's happy as long as he gets some attention once in a while. Doesn't care about TV, but He'll.
He loves the members of the Council on Aging.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Did he go today?
Yes, he did. Yep, he played. He watched me play dominoes. So.
And he got right into it.
Oh yeah, and then I knocked over my soup, and he licked that right off the floor. So. Yeah, they seem to like him there. So. I think people need an attachment to a dog. You need the attachment of the dog. Seeing dogs, it's good for people and good for dogs. And anybody who doesn't like dogs, I don't know, that's a problem. It's funny, there was a study that I saw that said female dogs are actually much more observant than male dogs. I guess they've tested it by opening a can and watching how the female dog reacts to opening cans as opposed to a male dog. And apparently the female dogs are much better at figuring out when there's food going to come out of the can than male dogs are.
It's unique.
I thought it was interesting.
Now, German Shepherds have always been associated with service dogs.
Yes. There's no particular reason that they should be the only dog for service dogs, because any dog can be a service dog. But they are very good at it because of the history of thinking of police dogs. And we think of Rin Tin Tin and dogs that were very much service animals. And they are very dedicated and fearless to protect their person. And they also are very good at following instructions. So when you train them, they don't seem to screw up so much. He's got a good nose. I know I can throw the ball out into the middle of the snow and he'll find it. So
well, he has been a very honored guest today. And
well, thank you,
John,
Brian.
we've enjoyed having you and talking about German Shepherds and their rich history.
Well, it's been our pleasure to be here.
Well,
thank you, Brian.
And we will have you back again.
We'll get you some more stories. I'll start thinking of them and we'll list them up. But yeah, this is just your typical German Shepherd. They're all like this. Eventually.
And he is a real charming guy. Well, John, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Brian. Mine too. Gator, yours too, right? He's a good boy. When I drive, he's right over my shoulder.